All about plants. 1. What are plants? Plants are living things. They are made up of cells. They need air, water, soil, and sunlight to live. They cannot move from place to place, but their leaves move to catch the sun and their roots move to get water. Their seeds can be carried by animals or blown by the wind. Part of the plants. Roots take in water and food from soil. The roots anchor plants to the soil. Stem transports water through plant. The stem raises the height of flowers and leaves and take then closer to light. The stem is made up of little tubes. Leaves, almost always green but sometimes covered with another color such as red. Leaves make food for the plant. To do this they need the water and mineral salts obtained from the soil, sunshine, and CO2. Flowers. Flowers produce seeds which form new plants. How plants make food? Photosynthesis. Plants makes their own food. Leaves are the most important part of the plant for this process. Within the leaf is a green material called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll absorbs sunlight to make a natural sugar that the plant uses for food. This process is called photosynthesis. During photosynthesis, plants use light energy from the sun to convert carbon dioxide from the air and water from the soil into sugar to feed the plant. During this process, oxygen is released into the air. Because of that, plants are very important since they clean the air. The leaf has veins for carrying the sugar to other parts of the plant. In the fall, leaves lose their chlorophyll so that they change to different colors. For plants classification, we are going to study two types of plants, the one that has got flowers and the one that hasn't got flowers. 4.1 Flowering plants are a type of vascular plant that produces flowers in order to reproduce. Flowering plants produce seeds within a fruit. The scientific name for flowering plants is angiosperms. Non-flowering plants. Some plants do not use flowers to reproduce. These plants are called non-flowering plants. There are two main groups of non-flowering plants: plants that use spores to reproduce and plants that use seeds to reproduce. The non-flowering plants that use seeds are called gymnosperms. Flowering plants' reproduction. Flowers are important for sexual reproduction by plants. They produce male sex cells and female sex cells. They attract the insects thanks to their colors and smell. By means of pollination, both cells, female and male, meet together. Part of the flowers. Sepals protect the unopened flower. Petals may be brightly colored to attract insects. Stamens, the male parts of the flower, each consists of an anther held up on a filament. Anthers produce male sex cells. Pollen grains. Stigma, the top of the female part of the flower which collects pollen grains. Style, long tube Q connect the stigma with the ovary. Ovary produces the female sex cells contained in the ovules. The anther and the filament form the stamen. The stigma, the style, and the ovary form the pistil. Plants reproduction. Reproduction in flowering plants begins with pollination. Pollination is the transfer of pollen from anther to stigma on the same flower or to the stigma of another flower. The pollination can be made for the insects or for the wind. When the pollen joins with a female egg cell, fertilization has taken place. After this, the petals fall and the seeds grow in the ovary.
No flowering plants doesn't use flowers to reproduce. There are two main groups of non-flowering plants: plants that use spores to reproduce and plants that use seeds to reproduce. The non-flowering plants that use seeds are called gymnosperms. Why plants are so important? Plants are very important for us because they give us food from all different parts of the plant, of flowers, fruits, vegetables, seeds, nuts, stems, and leaves. Some plants give us medicine. Trees are used to make paper and furniture. They clean the air as they take carbon dioxide, which is bad for us, and expel oxygen, which is good for us. Plants provide habitat for animals and humans. Plants protect the soil from erosion.